welcome back to another episode of the That Makes Sensei Podcast. So Stu, what are we talking about in this episode? What's the topic for today?
You know how in boxing or in wrestling, the person who comes to the ring is usually has some kind of music in the background as they're coming out to pump up the crowd for when they come down. I want to know what yours is. What is yours? Maybe you have one, like I just said. Or what would be your intro music if you had one following you out when you walk out the front door? Yeah.
If I open the front door, what's the music that would play to get the crowd pumped? Now, this is a fun little discussion topic. It's not something that you're going to talk about every day, but I've got some good ideas for me. But I'm interested to see what you're going to choose to. Like, what would
you are going to go first because I'm still thinking.
Am I going first?
All yeah, 100%. 100%.
I'll give you a bit of time to mull that one over while I tell you, right?
Please do.
So,
please do.
I'm kind of stuck between a couple of ideas. Like, ideally, I'd like something. I grew up watching wrestling in the 80s and 90s, right? And in the 90s, we got a lot of kind of like heavy rock style entrance musics in wrestling, like Stone Cold Steve Austin or something like that. Kind of song. Yeah. So I think I'd kind of enjoy something like that. But I know realistically that doesn't really fit me as a person. I just think it looks cool.
If it did, you'd scare everybody on the street.
I already look a bit grimacing, See, here's the cat, by the way.
Yo, bro. How you doing?
Say hello to Stu. No, she don't care. See ya.
No.
The other thing that I think of, you've seen the episode of Family Guy when there's a guy with a tuba that follows Chris around. That's probably more likely going to be my theme song.
No way, no. But that's not what you would like, though. The question is, what would you like to be?
So if I was to choose like a song that's in the public domain that I would be like, that's my theme music,
it would be Umbrella by Rihanna.
Oh, of course. Yeah. Single Ladies by Beyonce. All the single ladies.
Definitely. Well, you got the dance moves down.
Yeah.
Should we go into that? Where did you get those from? That's fantastic.
No comment.
Okay. Those days down the rumba class have been setting you up, yeah?
That's it. But let's not get into that deep past of mine, shall we? I guess one song that I think would be cool is, do you remember Street Fighter 2? And
yeah, of course.
Guile, his music's like dun 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 dun. And like that song has become like a meme for like doing something proper epic. Is followed by this music. So I guess I would probably choose something silly like that. Yeah, I'm gonna go with that. Guile's theme music from Street Fighter 2. That's what I'm gonna go with.
Completely 8-bit. No music,
not the remix.
Instrumental.
Yeah, just the little Super Nintendo sounds.
Man,
that's
I could pick a bunch of... Man, I used to be a gamer as a kid. I still love gaming now, but not as much as I did because I just don't have the time. But I could pick a bunch of those kind of... I mean, there was some amazing soundtracks to games in the past, So, there's just too many to list, I think. But... it has to be something epic. I always think it has. When we decided this topic, I was like, oh, and even just before we recorded, I didn't have a clue. But I'm thinking now it has to be a ballad or something. No, not a ballad, like a rock ballad. Like a
Evanescence
epic coming out. I'm thinking like 80s, more 80s, Cause I'm TNT. As you're going down the road, a phenomenal song, wouldn't it? Or something like this.
Mate, do you know what that reminded me of? And it's brought me back to video game music, is Tony Hawk Pro Skater.
Oh, mate, yeah.
Because that song was on all of them, but the first one is the most iconic,
The first one's got the most Superman by Goldfinger.
Goldfinger. I recently saw a video on YouTube of Tony Hawk joining Goldfinger on stage to sing that song. Now that is full circle. It
really is, yeah.
But apparently in England there's a Tony Hawk Pro Skater cover band called the 900 who are doing a tour at minute, and they just play songs from Tony Hawk, which is so weird that a band playing songs specifically from one computer game is kind of cool, but
it's so good. That had like so many groups that I researched off of that one game, you know. Henry Rollins. I didn't know who Henry Rollins was until I played that game. So
and like it was one of those things that it had such an impact on our generation that because that's one of the most popular games of all time, and the music was a big part of that game.
I did the same with FIFA and ISS Pro as well, because that's
Yeah.
really old school ISS Pro.
Oh,
but
man, ISS,
Pro Evolution
right.
Soccer 2.
Yes.
These kind of games, I took a load of them because they had some really good soundtracks.
Like on the menus or whatever, right?
Yeah.
songs
On
like
the
on the
menus,
menus.
yeah, on the pause, yeah, on all the menus, yeah. And I still remember that there's one FIFA that has like a Robbie Williams song, which I loved, like so good. I am a big Robbie Williams Take That fan. Deep down, that's my what do you call
Are
that?
we talking about my past? Let's delve into this a bit. Where's this come from?
What do you call that thing where it's a secret?
A guilty pleasure.
Guilty pleasure. There we go. There's a nice piece of vocabulary that this native speaker couldn't remember. But yeah, guilty pleasure. It's definitely Take That. I've seen them live as well. It's like,
my word.
yeah, that sounds crazy. Yeah, but Take That live. It's like going to see Lion King live. If you ever see Lion King live, it's like a proper show with and they come into the crowd, and oh my god, it's like going to see something in the theater. It's so good. Yeah.
Well,
Not just the music's quality as well.
well, I've touched upon something.
You've touched a nerve there. A good nerve, that one, isn't it?
Man. So what you're saying is that you would have Angels by Robbie Williams as your entrance music.
No, it'd be Feel. I just want to feel real love. Yeah, we're going to stop there. This is not
Well, this has turned into a karaoke podcast.
Karaoke.
Nice British pronunciation there. Expert. For those of you who don't know, in British English we pronounce it karaoke.
Karaoke.
But actually it's a Japanese word that's pronounced karaoke, which is totally different, and British people butchered it. So there you go. But
That's just the way it is. That's just the way it is.
Things never be the same. Yeah, let's not turn into a karaoke session, but you know. In that case then, let's kind of flip the question on its head. What would be the worst theme music for you? Like, what would you hate the most to be following you around all day, every day?
I couldn't tell you the original name of it, but it would definitely be the song from Benny Hill. I
would actually proper love that. I'd be like, yeah, this is awesome.
Yeah, but you'd
maybe
have
for
to
the
move
first 10 minutes.
You'd have to move very quickly for the whole time. So I'd be like,
just like in the supermarket, putting apples in the trolley.
yeah, I don't know. That'd be awful. Any kind of slow-moving romantic ballad wouldn't be good as well. Although I just say "Feel" by Robbie Williams, but
Oh yeah,
you know,
we say one thing and we do another sometimes.
yeah.
Yeah, I think the Benny Hill thing is kind of funny. For those that don't know, I'll play a little clip underneath us talking so we don't get copyright strikes. But yeah, because even if something tragic happened, you know, like you're walking along the street, you get hit by a car, but it's still like no.
Oh, yeah, that we get. It has to stop in that situation, no?
Yeah. Oh, it's like just like record scratch. Like,
Yeah.
For me, I would hate to be followed by, you know, kind of what we call music. Do you know this word? And it's like what we call elevator music, or you know, like
what's music? Can you fill me in?
That's what music
Can you
is.
fill me in? Music.
Craig David. For
Yeah, mate. If you get me started, I could. Anytime we speak, I just fill it in with
Just
song. I
something.
can do that quite well. You know, what do you say? Elevator music as well, yeah.
Yeah, the same thing. You know, that kind of generic music that you hear in hotel lobbies and supermarkets, and the kind of hold music. You know, that kind of generic crap music.
Yeah.
That
Like a corporate video that you get the training for at work, yeah.
that kind of song. If like I hate that in
Yeah, me
terms
too.
of music, but you know that would annoy me. One thing I wouldn't mind that recently I've kind of got into is lo-fi music. You know, like that study girl on YouTube, the lo-fi study girl. Or
Yeah,
whatever.
but you have to remember this song that you're choosing is going to follow you forever. So that means that We didn't say that, actually. I just made that is what's going to be happening. But, because I'm the boss. I call the shots here.
Moving the goalposts. Here we go.
I'm going to have to write this very, very quickly. No, it is... If you have that, it has to be a song that you can't get sick of.
In that case, then, I'm going to choose a song that I'll never get sick of and is reasonably suitable for most situations. I'm going to choose the music from Tetris.
Dun, 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 dun.
I'm going to have that follow me forever. That's my final answer. Locking it in. No 50-50. No phoning a friend. That's what I'm choosing. Final answer. Chris Tarrant.
Good choice. And that's wonderful. I can't do his voice at all. But yeah, good.
It's Jeremy Clarkson now, isn't it?
He is Jeremy Clarkson, which is unbelievable, really. Yeah. But
there we go. Anyway, so that, I think, it's the reason. I'll give you the 3-point reason, 3-point presentation why I've chose Tetris music.
Please.
It loops perfectly. I can't stand music that doesn't loop perfectly.
Especially if it's extended time, yeah, of course.
Yeah. Like, do you remember that game that was on the phone, Candy Crush Saga, and everyone was playing it for a while? I hated it because the music didn't loop perfectly, and I hated it because of that, and I couldn't play it. So the music performs a perfect loop, and that's useful. It has, like, 2 different kind of feelings. It's got the up part, and then, like, the drop, as the kids call it, right? Mm-hmm. Where it kind of builds up, and then you get the good part. So that's nice. And I think Tetris music kind of fits with anything. I think you could dub it over most things and it would be okay.
What if it's a horror film? You could not put that music into a horror film. Like Dracula about to bite. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, yeah, sure.
Play it on like drop D guitars and turn it into minor. You're away.
How about if it's a Looney Tunes, Bugs Bunny, or what do you call it, Wile E. Coyote and the Roadrunner?
Yeah. Speed it up by 50%, play it on a ukulele. Problem solved.
Yeah, good choice.
So that's what I reckon. It could be amended to fit in any situation. It loops perfectly. And yeah, it's kind of fun. Kind of fun song. So that's my present. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk.
That was the shortest and shittest TED Talk we'll see this year.
Well, I feel attacked.
It is a classic. It can't be denied. But I think I would get sick of it. It does loop well. But I mean, and if you're good at audio, you can loop anything, really. If you're actually good at it. Most songs can loop. Like
if you know what you're doing.
Because most songs, if we're not talking about just instrumental, but most songs have a chorus and then a verse. And then you potentially could loop,
forever.
Yeah, the potential is there. But
you said you can get sick of it because it loops, right? But I used to work in a supermarket in England, right? And they would have the same songs on a loop all the time. But after like a month of working there, you don't even notice it anymore. Your brain tunes it out. So maybe eventually, whatever song you choose, you just tune out anyway, so it doesn't really matter. It's kind of pointless.
So you just think that people are looking at you with weird looks because...
what are you guys listening to?
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are weird. I'm just walking around with the Tetris theme song. Like, what's up with you? What would you choose? What song? Let's nail it down. What are you choosing?
Has to be one.
Yeah,
I have
just
to commit.
One. It's like Highlander. There can be only one.
But this is like a marriage, so I have to commit to it and, make sure...
At least for the next 10 minutes until we finish this podcast.
Okay. Well, I think I can think of an answer after 10 minutes, so we could just have a long pause for the rest of this podcast.
All right, well, let's just have a minute of silence.
10 minutes. So I would say, yeah, like I said, it has to be something that I can enjoy the whole time. I mean, maybe it would be a Daft Punk song, actually. I think it would possibly be something like, which one? I don't know.
Around the world,
forever. My favourite is, if I could have the second Daft Punk album on a loop, instrumentally, I would be fine with it. Yeah, 100%. Throughout my life, like a whole. So let's go on to albums then. If you could have a whole album, because then it gives you some variety throughout. It has to be on repeat forever. I think Daft Punk's Discovery would be my one, because it's got some really good songs on there, like One More Time. Well, I mean, One More Time can get a bit repetitive. Harder, Better, Faster, Stronger, and
that's why the harder, better, faster, stronger. That one, right?
Yeah, and there's the second song on the album is called Aerodynamic. I love that song. It's so good. But they all, because it's a story. If you've seen the videos, it's actually a
Yeah.
story from a film, and they all have some kind of link. So I like that. It has memories. There's nostalgia in there from the.
There's memories attached to it.
Yeah.
I think probably the first album that I bought and totally loved is probably either Dookie by Green Day. I bought that and loved it. Or Ixnay on the Hombre by The Offspring.
Oh yeah, I know.
I listened to that in my, as a 13-year-old kid on repeat for hours. So probably, even though I don't listen to him that much, if it came on forever, I don't think I'd be that sad.
Okay, that
I
makes sense.
think I could probably deal with that, to be honest. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Ixnay on the Hombre by The Offspring forever.
Wow, that's a long time forever, yeah?
Oh, commitment.
Is that the one with Pretty Fly for a White Guy?
No, it's the one before that. That one was called Americana.
Oh, yeah. With the orange,
but
with
also,
the yellow.
great album, yeah. But yeah, the one before that, it
It has to be a whole album with, so that means every song has to be good, yeah?
Yeah.
So that's the tricky part.
Just bangers all day, banger after banger. So that's a good bit of vocabulary. Banger.
A banger, yeah, a banger.
Yeah, because
is there
that's
any?
a weird word.
It is a weird word.
How many different words? How many different meanings of the word banger can you think of off the top of your head?
A bunch of them. So. There's a sexual reference there that I can think of.
Yep, there is.
There's a banger that means a very good song. He banged it in. It's not exactly the same, but like it's in
a good goal could be a banger.
Goal. An old banger could be an old car.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's a bunch of good.
What about a sausage?
A sausage, bangers and mash. Yeah, try and edit that's about just one of us are speaking. Impossible, I think.
But I enjoyed that, and this is why I can sympathise with English learners. It's like, okay, I've heard the word banger, let's look it up in a dictionary, and then you get all that which are not connected.
Yeah. I don't think some of those are definitely not in the dictionary because they're slang, aren't they? Really, but yeah, British love the word banger.
Yeah, apparently so. Apparently we use that word for a lot of different things.
Yeah. Because it's not even like there's not even usually when a word has multiple meanings there's like some trail, some tedious link through each thing, but for me that doesn't have anything.
Yeah, how do you get from old car to sausage? Like
to sausage to scoring a good goal, it's a mess.
It's welcome to British English, it's a mess. That's probably the best tagline you could ever give to the British English language.
100%. So just to bring it full circle, to bring it towards the end, wrap it up a little bit, I'd love to know why do you think it's important for people in sports to have music? Because you even see it for teams now. I think in American football, the team comes out to music as well, don't they? And I think they tried to introduce it into football, but it didn't really work. But why do you think that that's important?
Like, I think it originated as like a kind of a technique in boxing to kind of intimidate the other person a little bit. I think that's kind of where it came from. But then, as those sports have evolved, like boxing, wrestling, UFC, whatever, there's a showman aspect of it. And it's like the spectacle and it's exciting because this music is adding drama to the situation or whatever. Like growing up watching wrestling, when you were watching wrestling and something were happening on the screen and then suddenly you heard that glass smash and you knew, like, yes, to quote JR, business is about to pick up, and you knew that something good was happening because of that song that just played.
I think it's, I know we've kind of transitioned a little bit to music within general, but that, I think the music itself has an emotion attached to it. So in terms of, if you think about the World Cup, and then a classic thing that most countries hate about England is that we have the song Three Lions on a Shirt.
Oh my God, yeah.
Which it sounds like, and the main part is it's coming home, it's coming home. And it's not even about that we think necessarily that it's that we're going to win. We're not like some kind of obnoxious freaks or something like this. But, it's more to do with, like, 96, we had a really good... In 1996, we had a really good team, and, yeah, and we use it to, as a morale booster would be the best way to put it,
So that song, I mean, it's now completely, it's a meme in itself,
Yeah.
We know it's not coming home, but we're still going to sing about it coming home.
But it's an emotional thing, isn't it? Songs have an emotional meaning to us, so I think that's the great thing within sports, I think.
And it's a good way to identify other people around you. Like, it identifies the group, It's a big part of it as well.
So the music you said about Stone Cold, just hearing the music, the first 2 notes of his intro gives you an emotional reaction. You don't even say the name, no introduction, but just that.
The glass
smash, as they say. And people are like, yeah,
for sure. And that's what it's designed for at the end of the day. Most music is somehow related to getting some kind of reaction, whether it's emotional or physical or whatever it is. And that's the beauty of music, that it can do that to people. So
100%.
Lovely stuff. So that was a somewhat rambly discussion about music, I guess, in a way.
We went to and fro on that one, didn't we, a bit?
Yeah. But, that's what happens when 2 people have a real conversation. But I'd love to know what people who are listening think. Like, what would be your theme song? If you could choose any song to follow you around forever, what would it be? Let us know. If you're listening to the audio version, get us on Instagram. Send us a message. If you're watching on YouTube, comment below. Let us know. And, I want to see what people think, because I bet there's some belters that come out. But, Wicked Jungle is massive, Stu. I enjoyed that.
Yes.
That were good. Thanks a lot, and I guess I'll see you next time.
Ciao, ciao.